2 points I want to make. Tolerance is avoidance. Tolerance is moral neutrality. Let's get into it. So to start off, tolerance is avoidance. What it truly is when people say they tolerate or are a tolerant person nowadays means they are trying to avoid conflict. They are scared of the discomfort that it makes and creates whenever you disagree with someone, because it's hard to disagree with someone, especially now with so many different things to care about. People are sitting around saying, oh, I'm a caring person. You test them on some things and they're like, I don't want to get into that, because it becomes a point where if they talk too much, they might mess up what they're saying and then they look stupid. Or you can call them out on their shenanigans and be like, hey, that's not correct. And so people just try to tolerate and be like, I just accept all different point of views. But that's not being open-minded. That's just falling for everything and avoiding conflict to not grow. And then this non-engagement is not a virtue either. It's showing that you don't care enough to learn about the information that you're trying to portray. And the information you do portray likely isn't well-grounded in both sides. And it also is showing that you don't care enough about the other person to enlighten them if they're wrong. Whenever you tolerate someone, especially someone who doesn't know what they're talking about, and just be like, well, he'll figure it out if he needs to, and just not loving that person enough to say, hey, you're wrong, you're letting them live in a place where they're going to hurt themselves or hurt someone else. You have to not be so tolerant that you allow things that are wrong to be wrong. We need to call a spade a spade. And when we use this toleration to avoid conflict, we make ourselves soy boy pacifists that aren't truly standing for any ideals. We're just allowing people in their ignorance to go around and mess up the world that we're living in. In their ignorance, they vote for people that shouldn't be in office to make laws about things that we shouldn't be making laws about. But it's your civil duty as an American to be invested in the process and to be rational enough in the head to be able to critically think and to make these decisions as they affect you and your neighbors and your family and everyone around you. And it's important. And it's important to have these discussions so that you can grow and that your partner can grow and that your kids can grow and that your neighbor can grow. Because it's when we stop talking, that's when bad things start to happen. It's when fights start to break out. And we see plenty of fights going on right now. And so whenever we stop having the civil discourse and be able to sit across from someone that we don't agree with and be able to explain where we're coming from, because we don't want to tolerate the different point of views, and we're scared. We're scared ourselves. We know that, hey, this person might be right. I might not know my stuff like I think I know my stuff, and that scares me. And so instead of just trying to figure out where I'm lacking in my explanation of what I believe in, which you may not even have. You may not even have an explanation on what you believe in, which is a lot of people nowadays. If you do by chance have a reason on why you believe the things that you believe, you want them to be challenged because you're scared of the fact that this person might be able to challenge you on them. And you want to have an answer. And that's so disappointing. Point 2, tolerance is moral neutrality. We're sitting in this middle place where like, oh, live your truth. But that's not what truth is. Truth is objective. It's not subjective by any means. There is no subjective truth. What tolerance tries to do is erase the line that moral standards puts in the sand. And we don't want to have standards because that inconveniences us. And that's one of the good things about the Bible, which is for a different video, but with overcoming the law, we were not bound by it because it's impossible. We all violate the law. It's hard for us to follow the same standards and laws that we create for others because it's so much easier to dish it out than to receive it ourselves. We have vision, we have ears, we can see things, we can hear things, and we can use our amazing God-given voice to be able to communicate our ideas and to have discourse with people. And discourse does not have to be in a place where it's toxic or it's negative. It could be just us sitting here like this, chopping it up as bros. But it's when we work towards coming to a place of understanding that we can have some actual growth. And when we stop growing, we stop allowing challenges to build us up and to make us force us into uncomfortable positions because there is no growth and comfort. We are never going to be challenged to the place where we can grow and exceed. And we get so scared to just go up to someone and be like, hey, what you're doing is wrong. Like, we have so many people that are sitting out there and say, oh yeah, I'm just going to tolerate the fact that they are shooting up on the side of the road. That's not love. That's not loving someone. Loving someone is saying, hey, you're hurting yourself. Get back on track. That's what true love is. And whenever we see someone hurting or someone who's needing help and we don't reach our hand out to help them just because we're like, they're living their lives, they're living their truth, we are doing more harm than good. And it's getting to the point where it's like, we think that disagreeing with someone or calling someone out is hating them. And that's not the case, because you can absolutely do it from a place of love. You could say, hey, I'm worried about you, man. You're hurting and I can see it. You're not understanding and I can hear it. I want you to understand it. I want you to hear and be better. And we just want to now criticize this and label it as hate speech. What this toleration truly is just don't question me. And it comes from a place of insecurity and, like I said, not being able to back up your points. And when you have this toleration, whenever you're like, hey, I don't even want to have these conversations, get away from me. I only want you to tolerate what I am saying. You just have to accept it. It's my opinion. You can't even have any intimate conversations or friendships. And it's like, when did it even become that way? When did it become that I don't agree with you or I disagree is I hate you? Because they're not synonymous. How people are so scared of their egos being shattered by the fact that they don't know what they think they know. And it's disappointing because you have people on both sides. It's not just one side that's doing this. You have people on the left who only get their opinions from Hassan, Parker, and Dean. And if they don't say it, then it's not correct. And then you have people on the right who think that making liberals mad and owning them is somehow patriotic. And yelling at Starbucks baristas is standing up against the communist ideologies. That's not how that works. And then you have people that are sitting out there saying, oh, look how tolerant I am. Like it's some type of virtue to just accept that stuff that is wrong is right. No, it's ignorance and it's performative virtue. It's saying, look at me, look at me. I tolerate everyone. But what it's truly meaning is I don't care enough to tell people that are wrong to go a different route because I'd rather be the person that allows them to find their own demise. And again, what it's coming from is just a whole bunch of insecure people who are scared of getting their fragile egos hurt. And it's like they need the validation that they are able to think that way. Because if you were to say that they are wrong, they wouldn't be able to cope. They wouldn't be able to hear, oh, maybe I do have it messed up. Maybe I am wrong. And they freak out and have anxiety attacks. Critical thinking is just aloof to us now. And it's so disappointing as being someone who's in the middle, who can see that both sides have a problem and seeing that there is virtue in both sides and the issues that they bring up. But we will never get to the root of any of these problems whenever we sit around and just talk about how much we are so right. We need to put our differences aside, come together and understand that tolerating ideas that are wrong, tolerating ideas that are unrealistic, tolerating ideas that are just ignorant is not profitable. It's not helping either side, and we need to get past that. So toleration is not some virtue that people can just latch onto and say, hey, look at me, I'm tolerant. No, it's crumbling, broken people who are just scared of the fact that their egos are so paper thin that they could just be ripped so easily. And they're just so nervous of the fact that you're going to find that out, crumble them up, and throw them out. They don't want to be disregarded. And so they put on this performative gesture and cosplay as someone who's so caring and loving. And they hit you with the, you better tolerate what I believe in. But that's not the case. No one has to. No one has to affirm your lifestyle. If you want to affirm it yourself, that's one thing. But for you to expect that everyone else just affirms your lifestyle, that's not how it works. And we need to get past this idea that that is how it works. And toleration being some type of moral virtue, because it's not. It's truly just a lack of love and a lack of conversation with people who have differing ideas than you.